Please welcome to the stage Mayor Armondo Pavone.
Well, good evening, everyone. Wasn't that a wonderful way to intro with the Blue Thunder? Why don't we give them another round of applause? Well, first I want to thank you all for coming tonight and spending the evening with us here. And I want to welcome you back to the first State of the City in 3 years. I know I've been in office a couple of years, but this is the first State of the City. So my name is Armondo Pavone, and it's my honor to serve as the mayor of this great city, the city of Renton. I'm a lifelong Renton resident, and I've been part of the Renton business community since 1985. With my wife, Angela, somewhere in the crowd, we decided to raise our two boys, Roman and Dominic, here in Renton. I'm also a graduate of Renton High School. Yay, go Red Hawks. Looking for a way to give back to the community that supported my family and me, I ran for city council in 2013. I served 7 years before becoming the mayor on January 1st, 2020. What a wild ride it's been. We could not have foreseen the challenges and adjustments of the last 3 years. From shutdowns and quarantines to adopting new technology in record time to stay connected. The city of Renton is a shining example of how communities come together, meet hardships head on, and refine and grow from those pressures. Leading the city as a new mayor through a monumental shift into remote work and emergency response highlighted some of our challenges with support, safety, inclusivity, and our social safety net. It also highlighted our strengths as an organization and our opportunity for growth. And I can tell you, going through the pandemic and going through all of the chaos that was 2020, it really illuminated the city of Renton and what an amazing high-quality organization it is. It's very high functioning, and it was that way when I showed up. I'm grateful for the efforts of our hardworking city council members. I can't see anybody out there. If we have council members, please stand up. Council President Valerie O'Halloran, Council Members James Albertsons, Councilmember Ryan McGirving, Councilmember Ruth Perez, Councilmember Ed Prince, Councilmember Carmen Rivera, and Councilmember Kim Convan. I believe they're all here tonight. I'd like to recognize our city leadership staff also present tonight. If you'd please stand as I call your name. I know you're out there. Ed Van Faley is our Chief Administrative Officer. Ed started working for the city of Renton as a teenager in the Parks Department and has been with the city his entire life. This is dedication to our community. Christy Rowland is our Deputy Chief Administrative Officer. She's here somewhere. Chief John Schultz, the police chief. Chip Vincent, the Community and Economic Development Administrator. Kelly Beamer, our Parks and Recreation Administrator. Mary Jane Van Cleve, our Equity, Housing, and Human Service Administrator. Mary Jane's our newest administrator, and she's doing a wonderful job with a very, very difficult task. Ellen Bradley Mock, who's out of the country at this time on holiday. We'll still give her a round of applause. Martin Pastucha, our Public Works Administrator. Carrie Roller, our Finance Administrator. And Shane Mosley, the City Attorney. Shane Maloney, the City Attorney. I cannot thank you all enough for the work you do. I really appreciate it. I have got an amazing team. I could not be more proud. I'd like to also recognize the appointed and volunteer efforts it takes to provide a truly representative body of government. We are thankful for the many hours of service, of insight, and of cooperation in sharing the diverse viewpoints, experience, and perspective that help us define our city policies and keep us focused on efficient and effective delivery of services. The city is charged with tackling some complex and involved challenges and long-term planning. If you're interested in this, this is one of the best ways to become an active participant in local government. This is a list of some of our committees. I believe they're up on the screen there. Our Airport Advisory Committee, Civil Service Commission, our Community Plan Advisory Board, our Equity Commission, the Firefighters Pension Board, the Housing Authority, the Human Services Advisory Committee, the Independent Salary Commission, our Law Enforcement Officers and Firefighters Board, our Lodging Tax Advisory Committee, our Parks Commission, the Parks, Trails, and Community Advisory Committee, our Planning Commission, the Renton Municipal Arts Commission, our Senior Citizen Advisory Board, our Sister City Advisory Committee, and our Mayor's Inclusion Task Force. And I'll tell you, it really is important that we have the kind of communication and representation from our residents that we do. It really helps us to be able to do our jobs and to plan accordingly. Along with the council, I set a vision for where we want to be. This informs all our programs, policy, and work plans. Renton is the center of opportunity in the Puget Sound region where families and businesses thrive. What that means to me is that we focus on providing the best service possible to our residents. It means we provide tools to ensure opportunity for all, and we make outreach and listen to the needs of diverse audiences. It means we ensure a safe and healthy environment. It means we pursue bringing good jobs, new employers, and diverse housing options to the city of Renton. In order to get there, to bring that vision to life, we set our intentions clearly with our mission statement, and we'll speak to the progress we have made in each of these areas. The City of Renton, in partnership and communication with residents, businesses, and schools, is dedicated to providing a safe and healthy, vibrant community, promoting economic vitality and strategically positioning Renton for the future, supporting planned growth, and influencing decisions to foster environmental sustainability, building an inclusive, informed city with equitable outcomes for all in support of social, economic, and racial justice, meeting service demands, and providing high-quality customer service. And I can tell you, as a business owner, it made a lot of sense coming into city government and relying on our business plan. And in the city, everything we do really points back to our business plan. We use it as a guiding light, and I believe every administrator has the city business plan somewhere as a poster in their office. So how do we bring this all to life? We build out measurable strategies in support of each one of these guiding principles. And our executive service team, along with our organizational development practice, has worked to find qualitative and quantitative ways to measure those efforts, with a focus on making data-driven decisions for the City of Renton. There are different tactics used from several departments to achieve these, and with that in mind, we'll walk you through the citywide efforts and achievements we've collaborated over the past few years. The first pillar is based on which everything else depends upon, making sure our community is safe, healthy, and vibrant, ensuring our residents enjoy quality of life that encourages growth, prosperity, and security. Provide a safe, healthy, and vibrant community. In support of our first point, we have the topic of promoting safety, health, and security through effective communication and service delivery. One of the most effective ways to add value to the city is by increasing our efforts to provide excellent customer service. This means focusing on serving our constituents' needs and ensuring an easy way to access our services. Our constituents need to understand what's available to them and the enormity of what the city does. In our budget process for the 2023-2024, we included an amount to upgrade the city website and increase the amount of information available. Our communications and IT department are working to bring this to fruition by 2024. And this is a great time for me to pause for a minute, and I have to give special thanks to our communication director. She's been with us 2 months, and she planned and helped me write this entire thing. And can we please give her a warm welcome? We are also working on integrating with Power BI to provide data visualization tools to tell complex stories in an easy-to-digest, visible way. This applies to how funding is spent, mapping out new developments through the city, and so much more. As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Our IT department works with all city departments to build out contributing data sources. In our city clerk's office, we utilize PEG funds, which stands for Public, Educational, and Governmental. And in partnership with IT, communications, and facilities, we upgraded the City Council chambers' audio, visual, and broadcasting equipment to improve the reliability and quality of hybrid public meetings that are broadcast on Channel 21. Both in response to the pandemic restrictions and to increase accessibility and public participation. Time for a drink. One of the biggest questions we get is, what are you doing to make Renton safe? When we talk about service delivery, I'm proud of the work our police department puts in, recognized as a regional leader in developing progressive law enforcement services. And we continue working to find new, innovative solutions. In what has been the most challenging years for police hiring across the nation, since 2021, Renton Police Department has hired 20 police officers and is quickly closing in on being fully staffed for the first time in over 20 years. That's a big deal. We have promoted 6 first-level supervisors, 3 commanders, a deputy chief, and a chief. With the proper selection of officers and leadership, a completely staffed police department will provide the best opportunity to protect our community. Outreach and engagement programs during the pandemic restrictions, the police department had to find new ways to engage, including producing educational videos, hosting social media Q&As, and police story time, where officers read children's books online. The annual line of engagement events, including a thread-a-thon, National Night Out, and a Coffee with the Cup, has returned as restrictions are lifted. We launched a pop-up with a cop and a roadshow to bring the gaps between police and the community, creating trust through communication. We started a Cops and Barbers program where officers build relationships through thoughtful conversation. Additionally, the Renton Police Department partners with the Renton Regional Fire Authority to provide services to those experiencing mental health crisis through the FD Cares program. We continue our goal of transparency to the community through several initiatives, including instituting a community council to advise on police procedures and publishing significant police data and analytics on our website for the public to review. We implemented body-worn cameras and completed an upgrade to the in-car camera system to provide unbiased verification that our officers are getting it right. This took cross-departmental efforts from IT, facilities, HR, our city clerk, and the city attorney. We utilized technology, including drones, for the investigation and reconstruction of fatalities and serious collisions, which both reduces road closure time and overtime hours. Our Renton Police Department has one of the region's best training programs, which allows us to lead by example. To illustrate, over 16,000 hours of training for all department hours were logged in 2021 alone. An informed and well-trained police force is crucial to achieving our goals. We have taken a proactive approach at improving officer performance building trust, and providing unequaled service. The department is continually completing skills training and emotional intelligence training, mandating new programs to achieve higher standards of service. Two of the standout programs in the past 2 years are COHEART, which stands for Community Organizers Helping Officers Restore Trust, a required 4-hour training course for law enforcement officers in Renton, developing consistent strategies to listen and engage with communities of color in meaningful ways. Another program instituted was the ABLE program. It stands for Active Bystanders for Law Enforcement. Georgetown University developed this 8-hour evidence-based training to prevent misconduct, reduce mistakes, and promote officer wellness. Additionally, the Renton Police Department partners with the Renton Regional Fire Authority to provide services to those experiencing mental health crisis through the FT Care program. This incredible program offers a resource to assist our officers with mental health professionals that can respond to calls regarding mental health addiction or homelessness. I'm also proud of the investigation work the Renton Police Department does to ensure our public health and safety. Their large-scale narcotics investigation have resulted in the seizure of tens of thousands of fentanyl tablets, as well as large quantities of methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, and marijuana. Using crime analysis information, they have also successfully targeted numerous repeat offenders to reduce crime. As we know, public safety in our downtown core is a leading priority. In addition to deploying our existing resources, we regularly provide emphasis patrols to ensure we serve the community in higher impacted areas. Soon, a new policing district will be created downtown with dedicated officers to address issues and build relationships with our downtown residents, businesses, and guests. In addition, we are testifying in front of the Washington State Legislature to change existing laws that limit accountability or the acceptance of treatment and services for those experiencing some of the core issues of addiction and homelessness. John Schultz, our Chief of Police, will say a few words on our approach.
Particularly in the past 2 years, we've seen a lot of the issues or challenges for the police department around public safety reflected in the laws that were passed in 2021, particularly with the Blake decision and the legislation that followed that. So some of our challenges are, compassionately dealing with some of our community members that are dealing with addiction issues or mental health issues, and being able to have the resources available to them to get them the help that they need. And with that in mind, taking care of the citizens whose rights are being infringed on by crimes that are being committed. So one of the ways we've looked to help a lot of those residents that are suffering from these issues is we have a downtown emphasis patrol that will go out, make contact, offer them those resources, offer them a ride to those resources, whatever we can do to try to get some stability to them. It's just that continual follow-up and being down there and building those relationships with those community members, try to even build up a trust with them so that we can get them to those resources that they badly need. What we're excited about is since 2021, we've hired 21 new officers, and we're about up to our budgeted staffing number, which means we can actually start spreading resources out amongst our divisions where they're needed for the follow-up to extend our services to the community.
One of the things I asked staff to do about a year ago is really look at some of the things that we can make an impact on. And so in last year's budget, we actually added a number of additional positions revolved around cleaning. We have the same number of solid waste removal specialists that we had when we were a city of 28,000. There were 2 of them. And so in this last budget, we doubled that. We've also added 3 new parks maintenance workers, and we're in the process right now of of having our entire department and staff go through CEPTED training, which is, it's basically community safety through environmental design. And it's a way of looking at our surroundings on creating safer spaces. So in our next point, we facilitate successful neighborhoods through community involvement. We ensure our communities are healthy and growing by establishing a two-way dialogue. We set up a neighborhoods program to offer residents city resources and hired a neighborhood program coordinator to facilitate the program. We are reestablishing the staff liaison group to provide real names and faces to call upon when there are issues or questions. We added new staff, a community outreach coordinator to cultivate and expand relationships with community partners and residents that reflect the city's diverse population. When reviewing our budget this past year, one of the most supported measures was to bring back the neighborhood events that were well loved by council members and residents. Our community is the building block of what we do, providing opportunities to meet your neighbors and strengthen our network while creating lasting memories is a tradition we are more than pleased to bring back. Community engagement and involvement are highlighted part of each project planning phase across all departments. We are utilizing our internal resources to best communicate with residents and businesses on service upgrades, new construction, and projects to look forward to. A healthy community has the opportunity and housing choices available for all ages and all income levels. The city has made wide steps forward in our partnership on this topic. In conjunction with 6 other South King County cities, we developed a sub-regional housing action framework to put some common standards in place prior to each city completing its own individual housing action plan. This project was awarded the 2022 PSRC Vision 2050 Award under the category of Working Together. We go further together, and I'm grateful for our relationships with neighboring cities in completing these complex goals. And I can say that as a fairly new mayor, I have got great relationships with the other South County mayors, and we really lean on each other and work together to not only provide services to our cities, but to actually collaborate to provide services to the entire region. We adopted the city's first housing action plan in 2021 after a year and a half of studying Renton's housing needs as we face rapid growth. 9,300 new housing units are needed by 2040, with various housing types required. We received a $100,000 Housing Action Plan implementation grant from the Washington State Department of Commerce to proceed with 3 actions. To address those housing needs, we looked at several approaches, including the development of affordable housing with projects like the Sunset Gardens, which redeveloped Renton's Housing Authority offices into a mixed-use development with 76 affordable housing units. The city provided a portion of the funding and helped secure other public financing. Our Community and Economic Development Department earned awards for smart partnerships in the Willow Crest townhomes, the first multifamily net zero energy and permanently affordable home ownership project in King County. The homes will provide permanent affordable housing for families earning between 60 and 80% of the area's mean income. That really is a program that we're hoping to expand upon, and it really is an amazing program. Other cities are looking to follow. Our initiative, Permanent Ready Access Dwelling Unit Program, won a Vision 2050 award from the Puget Sound Regional Council. This program reduces the barriers to construct accessory dwelling units by offering pre-approved base plans, technical support, and expedited permitting. This type of infill housing creates viable, affordable housing options within existing neighborhood framework. We've partnered with the King County Veterans, Seniors, and Human Services Levy and the Community Development Block Grant to hear the needs of those distinct audiences and find partnerships to address them. We partnered with the South King County Housing and Homeless Partnership, also known as SKIP, to establish the South King County Housing Capital Fund, which released its first application cycle in 2023. We contributed pooled HB 1403 funding to the Housing Capital Fund. That's one of those things that slipped through the cracks, HB 1406. That doesn't mean anything to you guys. I had to think about what it meant. And addresses the housing difficulties and tangential issues as part of more comprehensive solution. Here are two great affordable housing projects our community and economic development team has seen through to completion. Sunset Oaks in the Sunset neighborhood and Willowcrest, which is the 12 affordable housing units that offer entry point to homeownership and building equity. Under our commitment to safety, health, and quality of life, we are focused on supporting the growing needs for human service funding to address the challenges of housing and mental health. This was the reason behind gathering services and efforts under the newly formed Equity, Housing, and Human Services Department. Through this, we also fund nearly 60 nonprofits addressing a variety of housing and mental health needs, looking at the base issues that can sometimes have similar core causes. We saw the development of a therapeutic court program in our Renton municipal courts to holistically deal with the root causes and offer alternatives and treatments to those in need. We also have begun conversations about a South King County consortium to develop a shared resource center, a facility to help serve the growing population experiencing behavioral health and homelessness. This is based on successful proven models in both Texas and Arizona. We've had great success with shared solutions, including Valleycom for police, fire, and emergency communications, and our SCORE jail, which is our shared jail system. Part of a vibrant and healthy community are the roadways, walkways, and abilities to explore. To promote a walkable, pedestrian, and bike-friendly city, we completed the comprehensive city walkway plan, noting 357 miles of existing sidewalk and opportunity areas of another 196 miles of missing sidewalk. To fund that, we are exploring the option of a city transportation benefit district to continue our walkability projects and others. The Lake Washington Trail Loop project was added to previous extensions with the completion of Phase 3. This extends from Logan Avenue North to the Cedar River Trails along Airport Way, to the intersection of Rainier Avenue South and Airport Way. This includes 12-foot wide bike lanes, streetscaping, illumination, traffic signal improvements, sidewalk replacements, new ADA pedestrian ramps, signage, and pavement markings. We also received a grant from Commerce related to the Renton Trail Connector Project, which extend a path in the heart of downtown that connects with regional networks, including the Lake to Sound and the Cedar River Trails, for a more walkable and bikeable environment. We began work with the Safer Access to Neighborhood Destinations, also known as SAND. It's a pilot program in collaboration with the Washington Traffic Safety Commission. The goal is to create community-centric, safe routes to neighborhood destinations in the Benson Hill and West Hill neighborhood. SAND is funded by grants from the Walker Roller Safety Enhancement Project. Quality of life planning includes preparing for the worst. Our emergency management department maintains a 24/7 emergency operations center and works to reach all audiences in case of an emergency. We conducted our annual public preparedness campaign, Ready in Renton, encouraging residents to have plans for severe weather, offering community emergency response team training for possible disasters. Our emergency management department completed a revision of the inclusive emergency communication plan to better communicate with our diverse community, including a new multilingual emergency preparedness training. We signed a lease with King County to host Puget Sound Emergency Radio Network at Renton City Hall, become a hub for emergency communications. We supported incident activities at 12 significant weather emergencies. You may notice that the streets in Renton are cleared quickly in significant snow event. At At the time, other locations are still covered. This is a visible way of measuring the speed of response and quality of planning our emergency response team puts in. We relaunched the Active in Disaster Organizations, a network of 40-plus businesses, nonprofits, and faith-based organizations in the Renton area that will provide resources for the unmet human needs of our community during a disaster. The city's emergency management department also managed the ongoing public assistance grant worth approximately $8 million in federal and state funding to repair damages from the 2020 flood, and state funds to repair damages from the 2020 flood. Coordinated the evacuation planning team plan for an emergency evacuation should we see future flood events. We'll hear a little more about the effort from our emergency management.
Two of the main community initiatives that we're working on are CERT and REPA. CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team, and REPA stands for Renton Emergency Preparedness Academy. Both of these are free resources that we provide to the community to increase their skills related to emergency preparedness and preparing for a disaster across the board. The Office of Emergency Management, we've really been making an effort to get ourselves out there, especially in the community. One of the things we actually have coming up on April 20th is our CERT class, right? Our Community Emergency Response Team. It's going to be 8 weeks long. We really want people to sign up, and because it'll teach them anything from how to use a fire extinguisher to being ready to even lift a boulder. It's going to be all these fun activities related to our emergency preparedness. Emergency preparedness doesn't have to be the super serious thing, but it's essential for your safety and the well-being of you, your neighbors, people in your community. Coming up, one of the things that we're working on is increasing our ethnic media outreach. On March 21st, I myself, since I'm bilingual, will be teaching a Spanish class of emergency preparedness. And again, the basic skills, making a plan, build a kit, all for you, your neighbors, your families. And that's part of our initiative to increase the ethnic media outreach in the city of Renton, coming up in the next year.
I can tell you my first 6 months in office, I got very familiar with that group with the emergency management department. We had 3 significant events in my first 6 months. We had a weather event, we obviously had the pandemic, and we also had a cyber attack. So it's very important to have them around to make sure that we have the right pieces in place when emergencies do occur. With an eye to continued growth, telling our story is crucial in this phase of opportunity. Promoting economic vitality and strategically positioning Renton for the future means applying a long-term lens on how we grow. Renton truly is the center of opportunity in the Puget Sound region, and we will be poised to make the most of this. Telling our story is crucial in this phase of opportunity. I spoke with King 5 just last week regarding how attractive Renton has become to employers, specifically noting the expansion of Alaskan airline training facilities at the old Long Acres development site, and the hosting of the new headquarters and training facility for the Seattle Sounders. The fact is, we are underdeveloped and at an incredible vantage point with ease of access to Seattle and the east side access to Lake Washington, to the Renton Airport. We have space to expand with developable land. We are seeing continued interest in growth. The balance between economic development and residential development is always crucial. In support of this, we completed the Civic Core Vision and Action Plan to renew and revitalize our downtown, including wayfinding signs, the restructuring of street design, and reimagining the Pavilion building into Logan Place Market. We reviewed and proceeded an average of 652 business license applications annually in 2021 and 2022. One of our staffing additions has been Jenna Estap, our new Economic Development Director, focusing on attracting new business to Renton. We'll hear from her next.
A few of the largest efforts we'd like to celebrate this year is the reimagined Long Acres site. Long Acres will soon be the home of the Sounders headquarters and practice facility. It will be the forefront of aerospace engineering, and the expanded footprint of our own Alaska Airlines. We're also very proud of the Downtown Civic Core Plan, which is the catalyst for revitalization of our downtown. The Civic Core Plan includes a number of different projects and efforts. One that I'd like to mention is the recent designation of Renton as a Main Street community. This is an amazing opportunity for us. We have now our Renton Downtown Partnership, which is an amazing nonprofit organization that is heading up revitalization of downtown efforts and really engaging our small business community, and truly will be the foundation of our downtown revitalization efforts.
So the Renton Downtown Partnership is led by Christian, and I don't know if she's here or not, but we are really lucky to have her. She's doing an amazing job for us. We are a fiscally responsible city, consistently looking to maximize what we can accomplish by actively seeking grants and other funding opportunities. To best achieve this, we created a new grants division under our finance department to support grants management function citywide. We added staffing, including a full-time grants project manager. We increased cross-departmental training. We utilized the American Rescue Plan Act funding to best serve the needs of our city, enhancing services and replenishing our general fund after the impacts of COVID. And most importantly, we increased new grant awards for citywide programs to over $55 million in the 2021-2022 cycle. This total represents our Renton Municipal Airport Fund's infrastructure and environmental mitigation. These are arts grants, tourism grants, and planning grants. This is a measure of the commitment your City of Renton staff has to find new and innovative ways to make our tax dollars go further and keep Renton a forward-thinking and trend-setting city. There's an old saying that history rewards the bold, and we apply that finding proactive and creative economic development strategies. In January 2023, we became a designated Washington Main Street community. The designation will help to attract business investment, improve the appearance of the downtown area, and create a sense of community pride and ownership through design, economic restructuring, organization, and promotion to attract visitors and businesses and offer a heightened quality of life. We created the position of a downtown manager to help us achieve that. We administered and oversaw the Lodging Tax Fund, which in turn operates the Renton Community Marketing Campaign, which awarded just over $770,000 in grant funds to events and activities that fill hotel rooms here in Renton, along with creating the secondary economic impact of patronizing our businesses here in Renton. We also partnered with the Port of Seattle to leverage matching funds for local economic projects, including a digital tourism campaign and a small business assistance program, receiving an additional $130,000 towards these purposes. We revised our Renton Municipal Code regarding business and occupation taxes, phasing out the current tax cap over the next several years and applying a discounted rate for those taxes due over $12 million to attract further businesses here to Renton. We assisted a diverse array of cultural art programming with more than $189,000 in grants to local artists and art organizations to beautify and become a more culturally vibrant and intriguing destination. We also aligned our technical services team with economic development to allow more data-driven decisions. With new employers making the historic Longacre site their new headquarters, Renton is becoming more attractive as the center of opportunity in the Puget Sound region. We are proud of and thankful for our long-standing relationship with employers, Boeing, the UW Valley Medical Center, PACCAR, IKEA, our Auto Row, Wizards of the Coast, Alaska Airlines, and the Seattle Seahawks training facility at VMAC. And we see expansions and ramping up of production here as well. We look forward to expansions in healthcare, entertainment, professional sports, tech, and aerospace. In recent years, we've seen the development at the Landing, several office spaces. We've welcomed the Hyatt Regency at Lake Washington and welcomed Topgolf to Renton. We also look forward to the future addition of a new campus of the Seattle Children's Hospital. In addition, we continually look to ensure a balanced and diversified employment base. Partners like the Renton Technical College ensure we have a workforce training here in our own community. We look to ensure we have a variety of large-scale employers, startups, small businesses, by providing tools to learn, grow, and succeed. We're in the right place to launch a small business, and I say that as a small business owner. Our Economic Development Department is currently hosting programs to provide fundamental direction on how to open a business or grow an existing footprint here in Renton. There's a current entrepreneur workshop and pitch competition taking place now, with training and resources provided to all who apply. And that's in partnership with the Renton Downtown Partnership and the city, One Eastside, Port of Seattle, and the Renton Chamber of Commerce. Our partnership with Startup 425 helps provide access to tools to entrepreneurs to go from the idea to working business in a successful, sustainable manner by providing mentorship to non-traditional and first-time founders. We're a vibrant, growing community, and we're committed to being a good civic partners to our existing employers and businesses that are looking for space to launch or expand. An example of this is the regular meetings of the Blue Ribbon Panel, a group of Renton business leaders to listen and address opportunities and challenges within our business ecosystem. We've also launched our electronic roadmap, which is a 3-year process with over 25 projects to support fully electronic permitting and reviewing. This saves time and the ease of access to process permitting. Public-private partnerships really maximize what we can bring to fruition for Renton. We saw the addition of Topgolf with over 56,000 square feet. Walker's Renton Mazda added 35,000 square foot. And Home Depot launches shortly right next to City Hall, remodeling almost 140,000 square feet. I believe we've got some pictures of Home Depot and Topgolf and the new Walker dealership. At the Landing, we see the Southport West development. We also see a combination of public and private resources in work in order to accomplish projects like the Park Avenue extension, working with Boeing, Burlington Northern in order to build new access point to Southport and alleviate traffic downtown. At the Longacre site, we see the expansion from Alaskan Airlines and the Seattle Sounders headquarters and practice fields. We'll see the expansion at Brotherton Cadillac and the Wizards of the Coast site also, along with downtown revitalization and the Logan Place Market project forthcoming. Here we see the Southport West development, a 1.25 million square feet of office space and 50,000 square feet of retail. And there we have the Longacres development in its future iteration as the Seattle Sounders practice facility. And with the World Cup coming to the United States in a few years, Renton will definitely be in the news and activated. I've been to World Cup events, and it's a little bit like going to the Olympics. It will be quite amazing to watch here in our own community. Our third pillar is to support planned growth and influence decisions to foster environmental sustainability. We'll hear from Matt Herrera, our current planning manager in our Community and Economic Development Department, on our plans for growth.
Big projects that are completed or just about completed are the Topgolf complex down near the Southport area, the Landing area. Another big project that is just about wrapped up is the Sunset Terrace Apartments right on the south side of the Sunset Neighborhood Park. That's going to provide 108 units of market rate housing as well as some ground floor commercial development. I would say my favorite project is the Solera project that we worked on over a course of 5 years. Overall, that project will provide almost 700 units of housing, both market rate and affordable, opportunities for home ownership, and 96 townhomes, as well as 40,000 square feet of retail on the ground floor, as well as a new daycare center. So Sunset Terrace and Solera are the culmination of about 15 years of planning, starting with the community and then going out for capital improvements, starting with the park and with the library. And what we saw after those capital improvements with the new park, the ring road, and the library was the private market coming in. And that's what you're seeing with Sunset Terrace and the Solera development. In the South Renton neighborhood near City Hall, folks may have seen the former Sam's Club being redeveloped. Right now that Home Depot is going to be going in there, and they should be coming online later this year. Across the street from that Home Depot is another Crane in our city with 145 units of affordable housing going up in what we're calling the watershed apartments.
A great example of fostering mixed-use neighborhood development is the Sunset Area Redevelopment Plan that Matt just mentioned. This project's scope has been stunning. Within the targeted residential area, we see the Renton Library, public space for parks, summer concerts, and to follow private development, which is underway. Developments completed or current constructions include Solera, a 590-unit multifamily project, the Sunset Terrace, a 108-unit project, Sunset Oaks with 61 units and 3 buildings, Sunset Gardens with 76 units of affordable housing, and the Willowcrest Townhomes with 12 units of permanently affordable home ownership. And here are a few of the projects under current construction with the watershed apartments off Grady Way, Solera in Sunset Terrace neighborhood, and the Weatherly Inn senior living development. You can see a few other developments in the works here with Earlington Townhomes, Penny Lofts, and the Sapphire Townhomes. We have the Kennydale Gateway development, the Park 5 apartments, and the Logan 6 coming soon online. We have the Forest Terrace development and the Sunset Gardens. We also have the Canopy housing development as well as the Cedar River apartments with office and retail space added. Our community and economic development departments works towards a straightforward permitting process that maintains and enforces high design standards. They process an average of 400 permit applications with a total valuation of construction projects at over $800 million over 2 years. We've reviewed site plans for projects like the Renton Housing Authority's Sunset Garden and the Renton School District's Elementary number 16, the Brotherton Cadillac expansion, Bezos Academy, UW Medicine Testing Lab, Blue Origin, and others. Our building inspectors have responded to an average of 80 inspection requests a day, and 8,500 inspection hours were spent on capital improvement projects for the public good. Our Public Works Department maintains an incredible amount of infrastructure. Public Works alone maintains and operates our utilities. Water, wastewater, and surface water with a network of pipelines, lift stations, 5,000 streetlights, 20,000 street signs, miles of roadway, 170 acres of airport space, and so much more. Our Public Works team handles the seen and the unseen networks that keep Renton functional. We completed several water main improvements throughout the town and constructed transmission main for the Kennydale Reservoir and the I-405 to Renton Bellevue Corridor widening project. The design was completed for yet another 5 water main projects. Our Parks Department maintains 31 parks and over 12 miles of trails. And these are just the highlights. Just a quick overview of the amount of maintenance our Public Works team covers here. It's an incredible, varied list. Good government requires relationships at every level. We're proud to work with our regional partners with involvement with regional groups such as the Sound Cities Association, Puget Sound Regional Council, Sound Transit, King County Council, King County Regional Homeless Authority, King County Flood Control Zone District, Sub-Area Transportation Boards, and the Association of Washington Cities and others. We appreciate our relationship with our federal partners. Representative Adam Smith and Senators Murray and Cantwell, and our state representatives, Senator Bob Hasagawa, Representative Dave Hackney, and Representative Steve Berquist. At the King County level, we thank King County Councilmember Dave Updegrove and Reagan Dunn for their work on behalf of Renton. On the regional level, we received housing funds towards the Sunset Garden project, partially funded for Coulon picnic floats and the ADA access, a study for the expansion of Henry Moses Aquatic Center, rental assistance and CARES funding for sustainable Renton and communities and schools. We moved forward on a park and ride facility at 405 and 44th. This is more than I talk in a week. Oh, you thought that was a joke? At the state level, we received 2 CHIP grants, which stands for the Connecting Housing to Infrastructure program, with funds for the Sunset Garden and Watershed affordable housing projects and Housing Trust Fund grants. We also gained permanent funding source of $3 to $4 million annually to vote to affordable housing and behavioral health needs here in Renton. Funds were granted for the North Coulon Park Walkway and the Family First Community Center. We received $250 million for the I-405 and North 8th Street direct access ramp and tax-deferred status for the 405 corridors. We secured $6 million to extend the East Rail bike and pedestrian path connecting King County to Southport. We received allocations from state shared revenues to cover the cost of implementing the new criminal justice legislation. We had still more projects funded related to transportation, including connecting walkways and bike paths in the Cascade Benson Hill neighborhood, a trail extension at May Creek, and the I-405 and the 44th Street Park and Ride to a Seahawk Station bus rapid transit hub opening in 2026. Last year, we worked towards the passage of two crucial reform clarification bills, ESB House Bill 2037 and SHB 1735, that restore law enforcement authority to apprehend offenders leaving a crime scene and to apprehend those experiencing mental health crisis. We also supported and assisted with several 2021, 2023, and 2022 operating and capital budget allocations for rental assistance, the Governor's Office of Equity monies for the 988 Crisis Response Hotline, and more as part of Renton's Racial Justice and Equity Priority Platform. We also supported enacting new tax increment financing, or TIF, authority for cities in the 2021 session, and extended and expanded authority around the multifamily tax exemption program. In federal achievements, we saw the passage of the American Rescue Plan Act, providing direct federal funding distributions to cities and counties for the first time in decades. Renton received $18.1 million in ARPA funds. We gained congressional funding through Senator Murray for the Sunset Garden Affordable Housing Project and funds towards the Logan Plate Market downtown revitalization through Senator Murray and Congressman Smith. We're pursuing transportation and regional improvements and services to improve our quality of life. We constructed the Williams Avenue South and Wells Avenue South conversion project between 2nd and 3rd Street, which created more pedestrian-friendly traffic and converted one-way streets to two-way streets to keep speed down and to improve walkability. We added sidewalk improvements, signage, lighting, and trees. We participated in Washington State Department of Transportation's SR 167 master plan, assesses impacts on the city of Renton. We continued collaborating with King County Metro on developing Renton-Kent-Auburn mobility plan to create a single transit route connecting the 3 cities by bus rapid transit route, or the Rapid I line. And we're working with WashDOT and Sound Transit on the I-405 project coordination. We've reviewed over 400 traffic control plans for transportation operations approval and performed over 200 private development reviews for street lighting, roadway, pedestrian ramps, and traffic signal improvements. We also developed 45 neighborhood traffic calming safety improvements. We managed grants from WashDOT for crosswalk improvements, including wheelchair ramps and rectangular flashing beacons at Maplewood Heights and Sierra Heights Elementary Schools, McKnight Middle School, and Hazen High School. And we completed a local road safety plan focusing on pedestrian and cyclist crash locations throughout the city. Our team prepared and updated our 6-year transportation improvement plan to ensure we have long-term growth in mind. We provided coordination and budget oversight for 40 transportation-focused capital investment plan projects. We'll assume a critical role in improving our community's health and environmental resiliency by addressing the impacts of climate change for future generations. In 2011, the city published its first clean economy strategy. Considering new technology advances and best practices, the Clean Economy Strategy 2.0 will serve as a roadmap of local policies to reduce our greenhouse gas emission, enhance environmental sustainability, and prepare for climate change. This will launch in the spring of this year after a 2-year process, including public outreach, research, and planning. Our Community and Economic Development Department participates within the King County Climate Collaboration Committee, and we continue to expand recycling at the city facilities. We held 3 special recycling events for residents to recycle materials that aren't allowed at curb scrap metal and large scrap metal, appliances, mattresses, cardboard, tires, styrofoam, and documents for shredding. This kept over 53 tons of material out of landfills. We also initiated the innovative Shift Green program, partnering with Renton Auto Supply and service retailers, including O'Reilly's, AutoZone, Gary's Quick Lube, Brown Bear, and mobile service providers recycle used motor oil and oil filters. And we're beginning to build our EV infrastructure, including public and private charging stations throughout the city. With guidance to increase mobility, promote clean energy in existing buildings and new development, preserve and expand our open spaces and tree coverage, and reduce CO2 and greenhouse gases, we're pursuing several projects, including conserving land south of May Creek and east of Lake Washington Boulevard. We received a King County Conservation Fund's Futures Grant to cover 50% of the purchase price. We also established restrictive covenants for other property within the May Creek Greenway to be preserved as open space. We participated in the Central Puget Sound Watershed Salmon Habitat Plan update. We renewed a 10-year urban forest management plan, taking us through 2033. We completed a training manual for the in-house forestry crew, implemented a risk tree management program, and a GIS map to track existing tree coverage. Renton also designated as a Tree City USA for the 14th straight year. Lastly, we're modernizing energy use, replacing all park lighting with energy efficient LED bulbs. Our 4th pillar is about building an inclusive and informed city with equitable outcomes for all in support of social, economic, and racial justice. This is a complex topic, and in realizing the intersectionality of several programs that we housed across the city, we created the Equity, Housing, and Human Services Department in 2022. This reorganization consolidates service lines and roles across 3 departments to create efficiency and highlight the opportunities to improve our emphasis on the priority and transparency necessary for the vital work conducted in the department. We also created the Equity Commission in 2022. This is a 9-member commission to review our policies and procedures and provide insight that we may be unaware of. Mary Jane Van Cleve serves as our administrator for the new Equity, Housing, and Human Services Department, and we'll hear from her on some of the key issues from our first year of operation.
It's fascinating to see and watch how the diversity is shifting and growing. When we look at our census from this last update, one of the community or groups that popped up in the top 10 was Guatemalan. So we really need to respect that that is a different Latin culture and it's not exclusively synonymous with another. As well as one of the top 10 languages that popped up in our census is Portuguese. We have a small but growing Brazilian community growing, and so we are excited to see this evolution. We also know for demographic for youth, the fastest growing cohort is 2 or more races, and so how youth identify will be really important for us to pay attention to, but we still want to honor all the other existing distinct cultures in our community. One of the things we're really proud of as a city is our newest commission. It's our Equity Commission. This was the brainchild of Mayor Pavone and from strong support from our city council, and they review our policies, process, and procedures, and we're incredibly proud at the holistic and challenging questions that they provide us when they're reviewing policy, procedures, and operations. They're looking at it through the lens of an age, youth, a cultural ability, access, and so we couldn't be more proud and excited. We believe it's probably one of the newest and only equity commissions that we know of in Puget Sound. The affordability aspect is becoming louder. It's becoming more broadly defined, and who we assumed used to need affordable housing is really becoming expansive. This is also now working professionals, young couples, individuals like that. It's just the market is becoming expensive and just cost of living overall.
We work to achieve equitable outcomes by eliminating racial, economic, and social barriers in internal practices, city programs, services, and policies such as hiring and contracting. We've continued implementing strategies as laid out in the 2021 Human Resources, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Tactical Plan and monitored our progress with a results-based accountability model. Some highlights include instituting an anonymous review process for new applicants to remove bias, introducing paid equivalency experience as a substitute for degrees, expanding our recruitment process to job fairs, and enriching our outreach programs and partnerships to find a wider pool of candidates. We also instituted mandatory staff training addressing bias. In the fall of 2021, our finance department, along with city clerk, held an online event to encourage women and minority-owned businesses to contract with the city of Renton, with topics ranging from how to obtain a business license to how to bid on a city contract, and included in-person breakouts for individual questions along with translation services. Our Equity Commission and Mayor's Inclusion Task Force were also consulted in the outreach and engagement planning phases of project management to ensure we viewed new programs and services through an equity and inclusion lens. In our ongoing efforts to reduce barriers, we improved remote access to city council meetings, reorganizing that in-person attendance can limit our audience, recognizing. We continue to work on digitizing forms to provide a way to access city services without a physical trip to City Hall to reach a larger audience. Improving access to city service programs and employment, providing opportunities and eradicating disparities for residents, workers, and businesses to speak so many categories, but a few examples are that we relaunched our neighborhood program and hiring and staff, including a community outreach coordinator, in order to better serve a more varied population. We expanded broadband access to residents at our neighborhood centers in hopes of reducing the socioeconomic barrier that lacking reliable internet access can pose. We launched the Gift of Play scholarship program to provide underserved youth with the opportunity to enjoy recreation programs and classes. We partnered with Environmental Science Center to provide educational classes, and as part of our work with the forthcoming Family First Community Center, Bezos Academy will be a tenant offering preschool without a charge. As part of looking to eliminate disparities, we also look towards our senior population. Finalizing our age-friendly Renton plan this year, including programs to reach diverse and isolated seniors. We've worked to provide wider access across our platform, including ADA compliance for our website and increasing multilingual signage across the city. We promote understanding and appreciate of our city's diversity here in Renton through celebration, education forums, and festivals. We are so lucky here in Renton to have a population representative of so many different cultures and backgrounds. Each year, the city puts on a 2-day multicultural festival, a celebration of all of our cultures and backgrounds here in the city of Renton. This year, our Equity, Housing, and Human Service Department threw an incredible celebration for our Asian cultures to celebrate the Lunar New Year here at City Hall. With the establishment of a culturally relevant events and activities calendar, we will host several others. And lastly, we are employing translation services to ensure city events are promoted and available in our top 5 most spoken languages. We will seek opportunities for ongoing two-way dialogue with all communities, engage those historically marginalized, and ensure we lift every voice, listen, and act on what we learn. Listening is a significant part of our initiative and ongoing effort. We take extra care to ensure we're not only seeking opinions at the start of a project, but also receiving real-time feedback and modifying our efforts to ensure we are measuring our successes. Within that, we've launched the Mayor's Inclusion Task Force, the Equity Commission, and more broadly, the See, Click, Fix software, or Renton Responds, to hear feedback impact from across the city and on all projects, from those as small as utility questions to identifying opportunities to serve the city better. And encourage everybody to download the Renton Responds Act and use it. It's very helpful for us. This year we'll see the launch of a two-way engagement platform called Bang the Table, enabling us to share information, answer questions, and provide quick facts to large audience on a platform that hosts comment section for interaction. So communication was one of my priorities coming into office, and I felt that the way cities communicate with the public and with businesses needed to change. Social media really has changed how we interact with people. And for years, it was a one-way, we give you the information and you digest it. And social media has kind of trained us all to have a voice. There's obviously good and bad in that. But as a city organization, it helps us to hear from our residents. And so this platform, Bang the Table, or one like it, will allow us to, in real time, be able to communicate with residents, whether it's something going on a street or an actual project that's underway. We will build capacity within the city to implement inclusion and equity by providing the knowledge, skills, awareness, and tools to integrate anti-racist approach into our daily work. This is one of the core values of EHHS department, creating a distinct position to work towards this goal daily. Our equity manager works to normalize and operationalize equity and inclusion practices across all city disciplines. Our city clerk's office is working in partnership with the finance and legal departments to finalize the city's purchasing and contracting policy using the Renton equity lens as part of our daily integration. Our fifth and last pillar, we want to meet service demands and provide high-quality customer service. We plan, develop, and maintain quality services, infrastructures, and amenities for the city of Renton. Working in public service means our most significant responsibility is serving the public. In recognition of that, we have worked to continuously improve our customer service, including adding a welcome desk at City Hall to help the public navigate what they were looking for and where to find it. And as a side note, we actually were in the middle of heading towards remodeling our entryway, and we put a stop on it, and one of the administrators actually said, why don't we stop and take a year to actually gather data so that we could strategically build the entryway that we need and provide the services that the residents truly need. The city works on system-wide updates to proactively address growth as efficiently as possible. Our downtown utility improvement project repaired over 100 years of updates in one go. At the same time, we have consistent planning for utility services and added lift stations and stormwater management upgrades like our complete Monroe Avenue project, the 2022 sanitary sewer replacement project, and more. The systems you trust to work flawlessly are a 24/7 job. We work to plan and upgrade our existing infrastructure for seismic retrofits, ensuring future safety, and you'll see this with projects like the Bronson Way Bridge project. Our extensive park system focuses on continuous updates and improvements, including upgrades at Coulon Park, Philip Arnold, Liberty Park, Kennydale Beach, Kiwanis, and Cascade Parks. In the last year, we also applied ARPA funds to upgrade the Don Persons Renton Senior Center. We'll hear from Parks Planning and Natural Resources Director Erica Schmidt on our Parks Outlook.
One of the big projects we accomplished in the last 3 years is an update to our Parks, Recreation, and Natural Areas plan, and one of our goals in that plan is to have a park or trail within a 10-minute walk of every resident in Renton. And one of the great parts about that plan was the community engagement process. It gave us an opportunity to really get out in the community, connect with Renton's residents, and learn more about what they are missing and would like to see in the park system and what they really enjoy and want to see preserved and continued. When we went out and engaged with community members through the Parks Plan update, the number one thing we heard is that the community wants us to reinvest in Renton's existing park system. So we're doing that by replacing the trestle bridge at Jean Coulon Memorial Beach Park, as well as updating the North Water Walk at Coulon Park. Also, one project that just finished up recently that I hope you have an opportunity to check out is the new outdoor exercise area at the Don Person Renton Senior Activity Center. There was a bocce court there for many years that had fallen into disuse, and now there's a brand new exercise area. There's also ping pong, and the new landscaping really opened up views to the Cedar River. So everyone can really enjoy that, whether you're on a walk along the Cedar River or whether you're a member of Renton's senior community. You can go outside and enjoy that new exercise equipment.
As we grow as a community, I think we're going to need to really look at our parks. And this is a conversation that we've had with the council, and that is that as we grow, there'll be more kind of wear and tear on our park system. We'll need to make sure that we continue to reinvest in them. We prioritize services at levels that we can sustain by revenue. We budget conservatively to use taxpayers' dollars wisely and ensure we consciously use taxpayer funds. In addition, we focus on long-term fiscal sustainability by managing debt. Over the past 3 years, we have paid off debt for previous utility projects, increasing our bond rating to grow our fiscal capacity to borrow in the future. We have also updated our B&O tax structure and ensured that we have several self-sustaining lines of service, including permitting and utility maintenance. Our development fee structures ensures that we can maintain existing infrastructures into the future. We retain a skilled workforce by making Renton the municipal employer of choice. I'm incredibly grateful for our staff. The City of Renton has a team that deeply cares about serving our constituents and is one of the most highly functioning teams I've ever seen. I continually question about how we make it work so well. And the answer is that we established a strong city culture with support and resources available to our staff to grow, not only in their existing roles, but to learn and carry that institutional knowledge forward in new and advanced roles. We have a culture that supports internal promotion, and before that, we place the structure around our staff to learn more. We are deeply committed to enhancing our core competency and engaging staff at all levels of our organization. Over 2,300 staff hours of in-house training and development were provided in 2021, which has continued to grow in both 2022 and 2023. We also remained competitive as an employer by keeping pace with the market, including offering flexible and remote work when available. In leadership development, we offer high-performing organization training through ongoing continuing education and formation of pilot teams. We offer workshops on mentorship, leadership, self-awareness, and emotional intelligence, formal and peer-to-peer mentoring opportunities. We provide the Renton Results Library with self-service resources, and we have emphasized equity, inclusion, and anti-racism and mental health. For facilitation and engagement, we have formed a cross-departmental team to improve community engagement efforts citywide, and we look to invite voices from across the city for creative and inclusive problem solving. Our process improvements resource in the form of lean belting resources through our organizational development division support improvement efforts across the department with cross-departmental group tackling systemic process and problems of varying sizes and complexity. We provide organizational awareness to all staff, ensuring our values and expectations are clear and supported through access to central information and resources, internal Renton 101 training, and we provide extended employee orientation to onboard new staff, help their success, and make a connection between their work and our business plan. Our partnerships are varied, and there are nearly too many to thank. However, a few notes over the past year are with the Family First Community Center Foundation, with a special thanks to Doug Baldwin and the First Financial Northwest Bank, the Bezos Academy, the tenant of the Family First Center, who will be providing free preschool. Another example is the partnership we have working with the Washington Traffic Safety Commission in support of Target Zero, reducing traffic-related deaths and serious injuries. As a city, we're extremely lucky to have Doug Baldwin stationed. He actually has his offices here in Renton, and he is participating in opening up the Family First Center up in the Benson Cascade. And when it opens, you'll all need to go up there and take a walk through it. It's going to be an amazing amenity for that community up there. We'll respond to our growing service demands through partnerships, innovation, and outcome management, consistently finding ways to be accountable to our residents. We're gearing up for the Community Satisfaction Survey in 2023 to accurately hear from our community on what's going well and where we can improve. We also launched Renton Responds, an app for immediate reporting of issues, code violations, or requests for service. We're glad to see that Quick response has led to an almost 75% of our code compliance requests coming through Renton Responds. As requests for service become more focused on digital access, we've launched our virtual permitting service to streamline accessibility and provide online access to our permitting process and staff. We've also digitized our public records access through digital tools for easier access. As we launch our data visualization tools and move towards metrics for performance measurements, we can provide transparency and an easy to understand guide to what your city government does for you and what services are available. This also allows us to make more data-informed decisions. In the mayor's office, we'll work with our department administrators to continuously refine the business plan. We are committed to measuring where we have impact and improving our efficiency. We'll continue focusing on assigning authority and accountability through performance monitoring. We'll provide strategic leadership and oversight for the annual budget, comprehensive plan, and business and operational plans through 2024. This includes assessing city services to provide the council with recommendations for effort and resource allocations. We'll also ensure residents' concerns are addressed accurately, sensitively, and in a timely manner, and will develop, adopt, and advocate funding and policy priorities for the City of Renton at the federal, state, and regional levels. Our Executive Service Department covers organizational development, communications, engagement, IT, City Clerk's Office, and emergency management. With a focus on organizational and operational excellence, our focus will include data reporting, dashboards, and communication of the city's work. We'll institute results-based accountability practices to measure, evaluate, and improve services. We'll continue the investment in the development of staff to ensure Renton offers our constituents the highest level of enterprise and customer service through collaborative leadership and inclusive engagement, data literacy, and process improvement. Strategic plans will inform the long-term goals for IT, our city's clerk office, and our communications division, and they'll begin implementation. We'll enhance existing communication platforms and increase our audience by launching a new website in 2024. Building robust programming for Channel 21 and expanding other communications platforms while increasing readership and engagement. We'll expand our technical accessibility, enhancing public Wi-Fi in the downtown core area, improving access to city records, and developing a central GIS hub for applications, data, and service. In our emergency planning, we'll relaunch the Renton Emergency Preparedness Academy with virtual options and renew the city's storm-ready designation while completing a comprehensive emergency management plan and a continuity of operation plan. In our work in governmental relations, we'll pursue legislation and funding under a few main headlines. Quality of life, which includes funding and support for projects like the Family First Community Center and the Parks and Recreation Project funding. Public safety, including a fix to the problematic Blake legislation passed in 2021, refining the status of police pursuit laws, cracking down on catalytic converter thefts, funding body camera operations on 24-hour solutions, and a 24-hour solution for behavioral health in South King County. Transportation infrastructure, which covers topics like solution at the 405-167 junctions for the bus rapid transit launch in 2026, and allocation of Move Ahead Washington funding for transportation and transit projects like the East Rail Corridor improvements. Racial justice and equity will seek outside funding and tools to assist equity, housing, and human services in advancing racial justice and equity and deploying additional resources for affordable housing and human needs. We'll also support legislative initiatives to establish housing benefit districts, enhance housing trust fund appropriations, and make the surplus property available to affordable homeownership projects. Budget and fiscal, where we'll support a property tax cap based on inflationary index and on population growth. Economic development and housing, as we support measures for affordable housing and housing stability. Environmental sustainability to support recycling and the work of the King County and City climate collaboration and incentives for using zero-emission equipment. Under land use and the GMA, we support the addition of additional middle housing stock through various types, decreasing cost for conversion and reuse projects. In our Renton Police Department, we will recruit, hire, and train department employees to be fully staffed by the end of 2023. Did you hear that, John? Including minimum patrol staffing to address public safety concerns. We'll utilize tech upgrades using drones, GPS, and cell pings to assist officers in resolving crimes as safely as possible. We'll integrate officer wellness and mental health support and a regular training curriculum. We'll continue working with community groups and other city departments to address quality of life issues regarding our homeless population. We'll reduce the impacts of drugs in our community by targeting all levels of drug use and distribution and continue participation in community engagement and outreach events. We'll consistently enforce traffic laws and concentrate empirically valued problem areas. In our investigations, we'll work to clear a minimum of 75 cases assigned with efforts to progressively increase that rate through added tech. Through diligent research, we'll continue providing cutting-edge training and equipment to the City of Renton Police Department members. Our Community and Economic Development Department will launch a business outreach and recruitment program, implement our Civic Core Action work plan. We'll work to attract new business and development and promote Renton as a top location for investment. We'll foster redevelopment in South Lake Washington and work to stimulate development adjacent to the landing. We'll complete the Rainier-Grady Junction Transit-Oriented District Subarea Plan, promoting mixed use and commercial development. We'll expand city public art programs and use GIS database to present easy to understand citywide data. We'll launch our CED electronic roadmap and continue to process annexations as residents and property owners express a desire to become part of the City of Renton. We'll complete the 2024 comp plan update and work to ensure new development adds value, quality, and character to the city. We'll also streamline our permit system using InterGov and City CSS for more efficient permitting process. In our Equity, Housing, and Human Services Department, we'll expand the neighborhood program to also support 50% of our residents that are renters. They'll support the work of Equity Commission and create an action plan for human service needs. Working with community and economic development, they'll work on a housing action plan and establish a long-term plan for HB 1590 funding to support affordable housing and behavioral and mental health services. They'll launch a digital engagement platform with our communications team and work to establish a neighborhood program online grant portal. Through the neighborhood program, they'll also bring back 4 annual city-hosted neighborhood events. They'll work to promote the Housing Repair Assistant Program in various languages and continue with equity and inclusion training. They'll also work with partners to establish Renton's first behavioral health center, providing mental health services and homeless resources, including showers, housing navigation, and mail services. In Public Works, we'll see several projects advance. The Park Avenue North project will provide an extension connection to Southport, providing an additional entrance and easing traffic on Lake Washington Boulevard. The Rainier Avenue South Phase 4 project will widen and beautify the stretch from 3rd Avenue South to 3rd Place and include business-accessible transit lanes. We'll complete bridge work on Bronson Way, Hauser Way, and Williams Avenue, including seismic work and painting. And the Southwest 43rd Street overlay and ADA ramp project preserves our pavement quality and adds ADA ramps to existing crosswalks. The Lake Washington Boulevard traffic calming project will install speed humps between Burnett and Hauser. And we'll see the new reservoir construction start for the Highlands zone from 2024 to 2026, replacing the existing reservoir for a seismic retrofit and increased capacity. The Highland area water main improvements will add capacity to support the Sunset area redevelopment, and the Windsor Hill neighborhood water main replacement will help fulfill our water system plan. Another large-scale project is the Monroe Avenue infiltration system, addressing flooding and north and east of Renton Technical College. This effort will build an infiltration project and filter runoff through natural sources rather than being removed as stormwater. We'll also see a new storm system at Southeast 172nd Street and 125th Avenue North, redirecting dated stormwater systems to an understreet function and out of private backyards. In parks, we'll see the completion of the Family First Community Center, a new wayfinding plan for East Trail, and new playground equipment at Maplewood, Glencoe, and Windsor Hill Parks. We'll expand the programming at Henry Moses Aquatic Center to spring and fall and complete bond projects. We'll work to stabilize erosion from Cedar River embankment and increase the SNAP participation at the Renton Farmers Market, along with continuing our partnership with the United Way and the Renton School District to provide summer meals program. We'll secure a location for the new parks maintenance shop and launch new environmental programming at the Liberty Park. We'll host an annual community forum for feedback on recreational programs and energize Renton River Days with a city advisory committee. We'll install new pickleball and tennis courts at Talbot Hill and complete a new parks, recreation, and natural plan. In finance, we'll replace the financing software. This is a big deal. Known as ERP, or Enterprise Resource Planning Tool. We'll automate the accounts receivable workflow to process internal department requests more efficiently and review and audit internal controls for utility billing operations. We'll work with the Washington State Employment Security Department to share data to audit unregistered businesses in Renton. Finance will also review and audit internal controls to create specialized training and user manuals to protect city assets and resources. We'll evaluate and implement cost allocations for our internal support departments. We'll also work on identifying citywide funding needs and maximize grant opportunities to educate departments on best practices. In human resources and risk management, we'll streamline processes to positively affect the employment experience for Renton staff. We'll continue to build an inclusive, informed, and hate-free city by recruiting and retaining a qualified workforce and implementing the 2021 Human Resources Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Tactical Plan. We'll complete a translation to electronic records and negotiate bargaining agreements. We'll complete an audit of self-funded insurance plans and provide training to managers on protected leave, FMLA, Washington State, PFML, and workers' comp. And in risk management, we'll work to proactively identify, assess, mitigate risk, and prevent loss. In our municipal court, we'll train staff to keep pace with the changes in laws, ordinances, court rules, and justice initiatives, and focus on digital enhancement, including improving the virtual hearing process, enhancing the digital process for filing and hearing requests, expanding the online public portal with interactive forms and e-filing ability. We'll also explore the benefits of a community court. We'll also expand the benefits of a community court. Thank you for all for attending this evening. I look forward to seeing you out in the community as we continue to work to make Renton the best place to live, work, and do business. I encourage you to attend our council meetings, join a board and a commission meeting, and get involved through volunteering at any time. You can contact the mayor's office or email at communications@rentonwa.gov with your thoughts, comments, and questions. And before I close, I want to thank the staff again, and I didn't give her name, but it was Laura Pettit as our communications director, and she really put tonight on, and we need to give her another round. So thank you all. This was a lot to get through. I haven't done one of these in 3 years, but I will be doing them yearly, I anticipate. So thank you all for joining us tonight, and have a safe trip home.